And I've had a couple of folks say you should really let others know how you came to find some of these features and had them added to ePO. So with this particular video on YouTube, we're going to show you how we incorporated sorting way back in versions 1 and 2. The whole notion that we could actually sort is something you can take for granted today. What am I talking about? Go over here to Group Details, and we have something called Sorting Criteria and Synchronization. This area is focused on tags and IP ranges. Over here is going to be Active Directory or utilizing another source. We're talking about this particular category right here. If you had a number of machines that you wanted to put into a group and you wanted them to stay there, for example, I'm going to go over here to System and I'm going to look at these 3 machines. And I'm going to come over here to Directory Management. I could say Sort Now or Test Sort. If I do a test sort, it's going to tell me that they're all going to show up in Lost and Found. If I want them to stay in one place, and I have them in a group, how do I do that? Or I could change the sorting status. And I'll bet you many of you didn't even know this was here. If you click on Change Sorting Status, you can say Disable the System Tree, so these 3 machines cannot sort no matter what I do to them. Well, back in the beginning days of ePO, it was always set to enable. The SQL Server is under here. I'm going to take this SQL Server and put this under Computers. There it is. And right under my organization, I have ePO. And I'm going to put ePO under Denver Servers. And I'm going to take the domain controller and put it underneath Domain Controllers. And SQL is underneath Computers. If I go to my organization, I can see all 3 of these. I'm going to select all of them and do a test sort. They would all show up in Lost and Found. Next time that sorting would take place, it would get moved, and that wouldn't be of much use to anybody if they were all Lost and Found. Takes you to my story. I was at a bank back in the days of the early versions of version 2 of ePO. I put a bunch of machines, a couple of dozen machines in a test group to test some firewall rules for the endpoint product. Came back from lunch. They were all Lost and Found. I didn't know why they were in Lost and Found. So I moved them into a test group and they were automatically sorted. This will take you back to my day when there was nothing here. I called a product manager from McAfee's headquarters right down the street in Santa Clara, California. She came over to the bank and I showed her the situation. She said, well, that wouldn't be of much use to anybody if they worked in IT, and most customers who have ePO either manage it through their IT organization or their security organization. The next version of ePO that came out has sorting criteria included. And now what can happen is I can go to these machines, as I have been able to since then, and I could do either a test sort to show me they would get put into Lost and Found, or because I know that I have set these 3 machines to change my sorting test criteria, I'm going to make sure they're disabled and not enabled. If I disable sorting criteria, they can't ever move from this location. And that's the story of sorting criteria and the feature that you probably use fairly frequently, especially with tagging, in ePO. I'm Jay Appel, and now you know.